Hi, welcome. I'm Priscilla Batzell. This is Expressionist Fluid Art Studio Gallery's demonstrations and tutorials. Let's have some fun. This is the silicone matte cover to my turntable, which inspires me and takes about a month to do, some by accident, some on purpose. And I want to emulate the look of that in as little time as possible and use it as a base layer. So, I'm going to use some Rhapsody Rose. Some pink diamond. A little orange crush. My favorite colors, pink carnation. And I'm going to try and stick with colors that I know won't make mud to begin with. And then I'm going to add some more. This is tangerine, which starts with a yellow and I add some orange to it. This is saffron. Whispering Wisteria. Dancing Fuchsia. And I'm going to use a choice of tools, or a variety, I should say. This is Vivid Intense Rouge Violet, which I have not used in a while. And may use again. And I want to use it with some Midnight Shadow. Which is thicker than some of the others because I don't think I've mixed it with any art fluid, which I really like to do. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to get some green if it crosses paths with the tangerine. And of course, no matter where I stop, I can always go back and add more. So I'm going to finish with, I think, well, not really. This is Indigo Violet. And even if I make mud, I can still cover my mud spots with white and add more colors. And speaking of mud, here's some Aztec bronze, which for some reason I was inclined to add a little bit of just because. And I really should add some white, but I think I'm going to add this frozen amethyst instead. So a bunch of magenta purples and purples. Just sort of shaking the bottle around. The one thing I wanted to add more of, I believe, is going to be this Bali Hi. Yeah, that's going to be some intense color. Let's see how far we get before I decide to add anything else. And let's get everything I can get out of the way. I just found the tickled pink, and I can't go on without it. If I wanted some yellow, I would probably need a different background. So I've got several tools. I've got my OXO omelet turning flip and fold spatula. I've got this tool with a little silicone edge on it that I found in the clearance section of Michael's. along with, along with a dustpan, $5. Can't remember if there was something else with it. Anyway, so I've got my silicone rubber brushes, and I'm going to start with silicone rubber brush. Now remember, I'm not planning on keeping this. I'm just going to use it as a background. I do like to be able to have this turn though. And I can always add white if I want to flesh out some of the darker tones, make them more pastel. Might be pretty cool at first. Does not matter what I get to begin with, and I can pick up colors and move them pretty quick. I'm going to switch. And I thought about using some black, and I'm not done thinking about it. So we should definitely try the spatula. Cleaned off my tool. That's what paint pans are for. I'm inclined in a moment to add some white and maybe some black before I use up all of my, disappear all my negative space. This is Dazzling White Metallic from DecoArt and some Artist Loft Metallic. Just picking and choosing my spots because they're still white. Not exactly sure what's going to happen, but I know I'll be layering, so it shouldn't make any difference. I want some gold too, definitely. And there were some spots left. I definitely want to make the paint cover, which it doesn't look like it could possibly do on the first pass when you're just trying to spread the colors, because you've got to spread them out thin enough to make it try and cover, and then you get canvas texture. Alright, the only thing left, I've got Anita's Black Metallic after that. Right now I'm just going to use the colors that I've got on my spatula. And there's nothing to keep me from dragging some tools through here to make some texture. Because even if the texture looks like it's canvassy, as long as there's texture, I can put paint over the top of it and I'll get an impression. I'm not thinking about this. Maybe I should, but I'm not. I am contemplating in the back of my head the black. And I don't know what will happen if I scrape through. I might expose some colors that are underneath. I want to do it and find out. I know the chances are good that we're going to get something mucky here at some point. I really think the chances of being finished are almost impossible, but I've proved myself wrong before now. And if I pick on some of the white spots, I can still add some yellow. That will show through, I think. I better choose to do that before I get into the black too far. That's not too awful bad. I kind of like it, actually. Let's try. A random dispersal of black. Let's grab a smaller. That felt like there was a burr on the blade. Could have been in the paint. And remember, I'm trying to be random. Just like I start silicone matte. But just like a silicone matte, I'm planning on adding other colors probably. Quiet because I'm doing something I've never done before. And I could use cell activator, but I'm not sure why. I so want to use some yellow and some orange, actually some more orange. I'm going to clean off my tool. Toolza. Now let's grab the yellow. This is the yellow orange. After this is done, I could probably add dots and pull on those, which is something that happens pretty regularly when I'm manipulating my silicone matte. So far so good. Or so far so whatever. Oh, my orange is going to close up. Just looking to see where I see some orange that I like the look of. I'd like to bring it back. Part of me wants to just drag my spatula right down the whole surface. Just because that's usually what happens. But I need a scrape dish. I guess I'll just use what I've got. There's an interesting take. Keep scraping off my paint. I'm hearing the call in my head like, ooh, you should add some dancing fuchsia. But it's not time to ignore that kind of call. It's definitely time to pay attention. Dancing fuchsia is great because it stains. If it's near white, it will change that up quite a bit too. I like orange with dancing fuchsia immensely. It's sort of ripe for whatever I might add over the top of it. But as long as I can still see some canvas places, I've got an opportunity to add more color or black. Which it occurs to me, I like adding lines, so I could use that tool, or any tool you find that give you a straight edge, to add more lines. So I might put some black right out in my container. It's amazing that you can actually do this without completely making brown everywhere. I am actually getting to the point where I see that there's not a lot of canvas texture showing still. I kind of want to add some more white. Looks like a rainy day. View through the rainy window. I am hearing whispering wisteria. I'm going to try some white. A little more dancing fuchsia. Maybe I'll change up my tool. I really do want some black. I'm going to have to listen to my intuition. I'm not sure about that white. But it doesn't matter. Nothing matters at this stage. Except for getting the canvas covered with paint. Use my fingers and see how close I am to the edge. Pretty cool. Okay, so I'm going to take some regular black. And put it right out in my dish. I've got an olive boat I prefer actually, but I didn't get it out in advance, so I'm not going to do that. Okay, I ran out of time just as I put the black down in my dish. And I put it a little too far in. Let me attempt to switch that around. There we go. Now I've got a myriad of tools that I could use as a straight edge, and I might still do that. That's a wallpapering tool from a previous life. But I'm going to try this little silicone edge dealio. And some of these things may or may not stay. And of course I've got every kind of length, well not every kind, but I've got a lot of different choices when it comes to the silicone tools. And I don't mind if I put lines down that I'm going to then erase afterwards. I'm just basically amusing myself, having some fun, thinking about what might come next as far as putting paint in my pan, because I love the idea of using a palette. Almost as much as I love the idea of using texture tools. I am having such a good time, I can't even tell you. Sometimes you just have to give yourself permission to do the wildest things. And a lot of times I'll be watching one of my videos and I'll see a stage along the way and I'm like, why didn't I just pay attention to how much I like that? Like if I drag this, I get a whole bunch of different textures. Don't ask me why I'm not going at an angle, and I might still go at an angle. I think I'm going to take my little brush and a tool while I still can. And mess around. And I can do any colors I want like this. Well, it sounds like I've got a phone call, so I've got to go, but I'll be back in a second. March 26th, go now. Take 3, go now. Okay, so I had a phone call and I had to go. Unfortunately, it didn't take so long that it allowed my painting to dry too badly. Hopefully. And I came back and I'm like, wow, I kind of like that. Definitely love putting the little black marks in. And I know if I can be patient, which is a big if, then I could probably do something tomorrow. If I can force myself, which is really hard. Really, really hard, because once I get to the point where I'm having a good time and I like what I see, I don't necessarily want to change it. This tool is cool. I like it. Oh, that was the Michaels tool. I'll probably put a ad break in or whatever. I'll show you where I go, what it looks like. Cool. Just a little sideways action, a few triangles. Really cool. Loving that. I think I'm going to wind up, no matter how much I complain about the texture of the canvas, when I get to scrape paint away and it leaves a nice contrasting background, I want to keep it. Even the muddy parts appeal to me. So maybe I take back my whole story and I'll have to do another canvas, which is never a bad thing, really. I learn something new every time. There's no doubt about it. Sooner or later, somebody's going to fall in love with something I fall in love with, and they're going to buy it, and I'm going to be awfully happy that it's in their house. And it could be you if you wanted it to be. I love the skinny little lines. That edge is great. I don't know how long that edge will last, but the weirder the marks, the cooler. At least that's the way it makes me feel. I still haven't used up all my paint yet. Alright, it behooves me to try and use a texture tool. I don't know if I'm... Ooh, that worked too. I can add paint as well as scraping it away. Sometimes. I like to get something a little off kilter, so it's not all geometric. This is way too much fun. And if you start out giving yourself permission to do whatever it takes, you'll probably wind up with something interesting also. Alright, I'm going to pull out something in the way of a tool. I've got a Princeton Catalyst tool. That's not going to hurt my feelings at all. I like making checks. I don't get to do it nearly enough. And it's definitely looking like a city now. Something about checks makes things look like windows every time. I'm sure there's some point in time I should know to stop. I just haven't figured it out yet. I like using the residuals left over on my tools. Well, it is what it is. And it's not exactly how I thought it was going to go, but that's okay. That's pretty normal. Do I have something else I want to put in here? Some of the paint is getting dry. So it's time to figure out that it's not going to happen anymore. Well, The it's not my silicone matte, but it's still cool. Painting is almost done, I think. Matter of fact, I really think if I don't stop, I might like it less. Although this here, there we go. I don't know, I talk about stopping all the time. Very cool. Very, very, very cool. Fear not the mud. Definitely reminds me of something slightly mid-century modern. I'm going to call that good. I'm going to black my edges, and although if you wanted to, you could go through the next day. You could add white checks, black checks, colored lines, whatever you want. And of course, I'm not going to do that. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the compliments that keep my morale boosted. Thank you for the donations that help keep me painting. Please give me a thumbs up. Thank you for sharing my videos. I really appreciate you guys being here. If you watch longer or watch some of the commercials or make a comment, those things are all super helpful to me. My creative playlists are on my YouTube channel. And if you go to my YouTube channel banner, you'll find the PayPal icon. Pinterest, Instagram, Twitter links on my link tree. My community board will show you tomorrow's videos. If you have questions or you want the paint pouring recipe, ask me questions, it will. The paint pouring recipe is below Show More. When you click Show More, you're going to find my email address. Thank you for everything. Shop my Amazon link, please. You can buy anything you want from there. And my 2 books are there, Because I Can and Unlimited Possibilities, Volumes 1 and 2. Thank you again for being here. I love you guys dearly. You inspire the heck out of me. Bye for now. Priscilla out.